Hello everyone, welcome back to my studio. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing today. So the first thing we're going to go over is the fact that you're going to have two separate options. Option 1 is going to be in an outdoor setting. Option 2 is going to be an indoor setting. Now, what I mean by that is you're going to be able to decide whether or not you're going to do a specific cityscape, or if you're going to do something from inside a building. Now, a basic bedroom will not be enough. Some sort of hallway is going to be necessary. So we're going to want a complex room. I'll go further into detail within the rest of this video, but we're going to continue on with just a second. For those of you that are choosing outside is going to be a sort of cityscape. Now, for 6th grade, that means that you're going to be doing at least one building. And for 7th grade, there's going to be a whole process on that. And I will explain that further in the continuation of the videos. Now, as you select each video, the beginning of these videos, this portion right here, is the same thing. However, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the same thing for the rest of this video. Now, once you have selected which one you're going to do, please pay close attention, because you can 100% personalize it to your choice. There's nothing saying you can't make it a surrealist landscape, a surrealist cityscape, or even an ocean or a seascape. That's up to you. Your city can be on the beach. Your city can be in the middle of the woods. It could be a little tiny town instead of a full giant city. What you decide for your details is up to you. This is just giving you the basic groundwork. So, without further ado, let's make our selections. You will be picking one of the 4 videos that you see posted here and continue on. Thank you very much. Okay, so you have chosen to go ahead and do your drawing on an exterior scene. Now, as always, you're going to need a piece of paper, ruler, pencil. Now, I'm going to go through this very quickly so that you don't have to sit here and wait through a 15-minute video. Remember, you can pause and rewind as often as you need to. And if you decide that this one isn't to your liking, you can switch to the other video. Now, this video does have 2 options, so make sure that you're following it to the end. Now, the first thing we need to talk about, this is the fact that it's 2-point perspective, because you are 7th grade. You are not 6th graders, you are 7th graders. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our horizon line. Now, it doesn't have to be a specific straight line. It could be whatever. Now, I highly recommend that you put your vanishing points over at the very end. This means that the only things you're focusing on for your image is what is in the center between those lines. The further in you make those vanishing points, if you put your vanishing points inwards, you're going to have to focus on stuff here and outside of that space. Everything on this side of the line would be 1-point perspective, and it would be going towards this dot. Everything on this side of the lot would be doing 1-point perspective going towards this dot. Everything on this side of the dot, of this dot, would be doing 1-point perspective, but going in this direction. So what that means is that you are going to end up doing 3 different point perspective drawings, which is why I 100% recommend that you keep your points towards the end. Is it 100% necessary? No. If you want to challenge yourself, go for it. I am not going to stop you, but I do want you to make sure that you keep that in mind. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So first thing, I'm going to do my vanishing points. Now, you could do X's, you could do dots, whatever makes you comfortable. But you want to make sure you have both of your vanishing points in place. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and draw the corner, because that is what vanishing point, the 2-point perspective is great for. It is for drawing corners. Now, for this one, we're going to go ahead and do a cityscape. Now, you don't have to do the entire cityscape, but you could just stick to just a couple of buildings and then add trees and stuff like that and make it just, instead of a full city, maybe you want to do a smaller town. So first you're going to select where you're going to place the corner. You could place your corner of your building wherever you want to place it within this space. That is up to you. So, but in my case, I'm going to go ahead and place it right in the center. Make sure you're lining your ruler down with the bottom of your paper. You're going to do a straight line. Now, I don't want my building to go all the way up to the top, so I'm going to go ahead and erase part of that. And then I'm going to put a dot up at the top of the line, bottom of the line. And next I'm going to connect it to both of the dots. So top of the line to the vanishing point, bottom of the line to the vanishing point. Let's flip that for a second. Bottom of the line to the vanishing point. Top of the line to the vanishing point. Bottom of the line to the vanishing point. Now, the other recommendation is that this be the tallest building you're dealing with. Can you make them taller? Absolutely. And I will tell you how to go through that. Now, at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and add another vertical line on each side. This is going to determine how wide your building is going to be. You could do one really big building, or you could do a couple of smaller ones. So if I wanted to do a really big building, and just do one really big building, let's say I wanted to do a cabin, I could do it like this and just do one large building, have doors, windows, bunch of trees, have it like that, okay? Now, if you do something like this, I fully expect for you to be using, expect for you to be using the details in your artwork. So the next thing, if I'm going to do a cabin, for example, I want to add a porch. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and decide decide how long I want my porch to be. I'm going to extend the bottom of this building out. I've decided I want it to be this long. I'm going to do a vertical line, straight line, up and down. Now remember that letter L trick, you are never going to use the bottom of that L to make your shapes. You are only using that L trick just to make sure that your lines are vertical. So you don't need the bottom for 2-point perspective. So next I'm going to go straight from the top of the line to this point. And then I'm going to go straight from the top of the line to the vanishing point. Top of the line, all the way to the vanishing point. Now let's say I want to do stairs. Vertical line, again, that letter L is there, but you're not going to use the bottom of the L for your shapes. You are going to use the opposite side to make your shapes. So the top of the line and the bottom of the line should always connect to both sides. So I'm going to do vertical, vertical, vertical. I have decided that that's how tall I want each step to be. So I'm going to connect it to this point, connect it to this point. Notice I'm just kind of rotating and keeping the end touching the vanishing point. Once I have each one made, I'm going to make a point on each of the corners and connect it to the opposite vanishing point so that it's always connecting somehow to both vanishing points. Then you're going to follow this exact same shape, but this time you're going to connect it right here. Connect it, slant, vertical line. Connect to the bottom, slant, vertical line. Connect to the bottom, slant, vertical line. Vertical, 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 vertical. You see how I'm using the parallel lines? Always parallel. Now, this line, you can darken it going all the way across and then go straight up and down and connect the top over here, however wide you want your porch to be. You connect it right here to the corner of your building, connect the line, vertical line, there's your porch, and you can erase the rest of the lines if you don't need them. Doors. In order to add a door or a window, you're going to do a straight vertical line, point at the top, connect it to the vanishing point. Vertical line. Window, vertical line, wherever you want to put it. Top of the line, vanishing point. Bottom of the line, vanishing point. Vertical line. Everything on this side of the building should always connect to this vanishing point. Everything on this side of the building should connect to this vanishing point. So let's say I want to add something over here. If I want to add a tree on this side of the building, I want it to match the size necessary on this side. Now remember, to make sure something's standing straight up, you can use that T trick and just fill in one side. Place some shadow at the bottom, shadow on one side. There's your tree. Now, you will, at this point, this is probably as far as you're ever going to make it during class. Now, you can continue to add details, and you don't have to follow this exactly. You could change it up however you want. Add more floors. If you want to add a second floor, make it taller. You could add a balcony. You could put this in outer space instead of outside. You could add mountains along the horizon line. Remember, the closer you get to the horizon line, the smaller things need to be. So if you want to add another building over here, do it. Okay? Now, remember, stuff on this side, if it is facing you, you can always do 1-point perspective. And you can also incorporate things like roads, fences, etc. So a way to add a fence, for example, would be since this part would be facing me because it's on this side, okay? One way to do it, to do a vertical line, and just connect the top of your line going all the way down. The further back it gets, the smaller it should be, and the more close together your lines should get. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Once you have finished your project, don't forget to add shading. We will continue I'm going to have a few more details to add on to this tomorrow. But for the most part, you should be about ready to continue on with your drawing. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, at this point, if you don't want to do this version, make sure you're switching to part 2. Part 2 is an outdoor full cityscape. This one's just one building. I want to go ahead and show you how to do the full city.